Welcome back, guys, with Football Manager 2023's beta just around the corner. I'm going to suggest 5 fallen giants that you can manage back to glory on the new game. Ooh. Starting at number 1, in England, there are quite a few teams that you can choose to manage that used to be big or are a big club and are now in the lower leagues of English football. However, the club I've chosen to go with is Sheffield Wednesday.
Why would you do that?
They were last in the top flight of English football in 1999 to 2000 season where they were relegated. They play at the enormous Hillsborough Stadium with a capacity of 39,732 seats available.
Didn't ask.
They have a very colourful history and they have a very loyal fan following, but they have fallen away in recent times. In 2014, the club was taken over by their current owner, Thai businessman Difon Chansiri, who bought the club from Milan Mandaric for £37.5 million.
Show me the money.
Now, when it started, the Thai businessman really wanted to do well for Sheffield Wednesday. His plan was to get them promoted before their 150th anniversary. They then hired Carlos Carvajal to take the team up into the Premier League, and he almost did so a few years before the scheduled 150th anniversary in the 2015-16 season, where they just lost out to Hull City in the Championship playoff final.
He finds the army, he'll shoot! Oh, yes!
They made it to the playoffs the season after that as well, but they were knocked out by the eventual playoff winners, Huddersfield Town, and since then it's been just disaster after disaster. They were favourites the season after that, but they just came a very mid-table, very mediocre season. They were favourites for promotion in 2017-18 season, but with a poor start, they bid farewell to Carvajal and moved on to other managers, such as Jos Luhukay.
Who are you?
He was then sacked in December of 2018 after a run of only 1 win in 10, leaving the team in 18th position in the league table. And just when Sheffield Wednesday fans thought it couldn't get any worse, they then turned to Steve Bruce to try and be the man to steady the ship and take them up into the Premier League. What happened after that was then he was usurped and taken away from the club by Newcastle United, and eventually the club succumbed to relegation. It was a steady decline going from British managers such as Gary Monk and Tony Pulis, and also Darren Moore. They were also found in 2020 to have breached the EFL spending rules.
Disgusting!
And was given an initial 12-point deduction, which was then later overruled for a 6-point deduction after an appeal. But it wasn't enough to keep them up in the top flight, and in the 2020-2021 season, they were relegated to League One, the 3rd tier of English football.
Not a great plan.
So you have a club with an enormous following, an enormous stadium, and a rich history where you can turn and be the man to take them back into the top flight. Your first objective is to steady the ship, to get the spending under control, to get the finances under control, get them back into the Championship where they should be, where they spent 9 long consecutive years in, and then push on for Premier League glory. Are you up to the task? It is more than doable. Can you be the man or woman to bring them back into the Premier League since the year 2000? They're currently sitting in 3rd, so it shouldn't be as difficult as it seems, but let's see if you can put your mettle to the test in the lower leagues of English football.
What a load of absolute tosh.
We now turn our attention to Spain, going a bit more exotic, away from English droll weather into the sunny valleys of Spain. We turn to Malaga FC. Malaga play in the La Rosadela Stadium, which can seat 30,044 people. In 2010, they had a multi-million takeover by Sheikh Abdullah bin Nasser Al Thani. And that is the only time I'm going to say that name. And after the takeover, everything looked rosy. They spent lots of money, including signings such as Solomon Rondon and Elisu, and also hiring former Premier League winner and Manchester City coach and West Ham coach, Manuel Pellegrini. With Pellegrini in charge, they also started to bolster up the numbers by signing world-class defenders like Di Michaelis. They also signed players such as Julio Baptista, and they had a record of consecutive 5 La Liga wins, which they'd never done before.
That's good.
They started signing bigger players such as Ruud van Nistelrooy, the ex-Manchester United and Real Madrid striker. They took players like Jeremy Toulon away from Lyon, and the most expensive signing in their history, Santi Cazorla, the former Arsenal Arsenal playmaker for just 21 million euros. Other stars such as Isco and Joaquin and Nacho Monreal also joined the outfit, and they found themselves finishing in the top 4 and qualifying for the Champions League for the first time in their history.
Of course.
They qualified through to the knockout stages, eventually losing to Porto, but not a bad start, and everything looked on the up and up for Malaga. Big players, big managers, and big competitions. However, following the club's debts, UEFA banned them from competing in the Champions League, which was a huge financial blow for the club.
You naughty, naughty.
And in the summer of 2013, to help with the club's debts, Isco was sold to Real Madrid. Joaquin went to Fiorentina. Jeremy Toulon went to Monaco. And Manuel Pellegrini also left the club. And since 2013, they were in a very steady decline year on year, going slowly down the leagues until eventually in 2018, they were relegated to the Segunda League, the second division of Spanish football, ending their 10-year stay in La Liga.
Forgive me.
You are now tasked with, very much like Sheffield Wednesday, balancing the books and reclaiming this club to go back into the top flight. You've got, again, great infrastructure. You've just got to balance the finances. There's a big spending cap now in Spain.
Help me, I'm poor.
No, listen.
So they're trying to, stop this sort of thing happening. Can you take Malaga out of the lower leagues into La Liga and start competing in Champions League football yet again?
No, I don't think I will.
However, Malaga do find themselves currently 21st in the Segunda division, so this is no easy task. You'll be starting the season with a squad not good enough for this league, and you'll have a tough relegation fight on your hands. You will need to steady the ship to then rocket them into Champions League football again. Are you up to the task?
No.
We now travel across Europe to Germany, to Hanover 96. They play at the HDI Arena that can hold 49,000 people, the biggest stadium so far.
How fascinating.
They enjoyed almost 30 years in the top flight of German football.
That's good.
Until 2015, when they were relegated to the Bundesliga 2.
That's bad.
Having won 2 league titles, these are no mugs. They did find themselves back in the top flight, but then subsequently relegated again in 2018 and have since been in the second tier of German football.
Right.
The club boasts an extremely passionate fan base, which found themselves in trouble when they travelled to Turf Moor to take on Burnley in 2017.
Get in there.
Where the fans charged other fans after a small altercation on the pitch, using chairs as missiles. It didn't look good for the outfit, which they were also subsequently punished for.
You beauty.
And the game was abandoned at half-time, with Hanover trailing 1-0.
Are we the baddies?
2 relegations in 3 years sees this giant of German football desperately in need for some stability. They find themselves currently 5th in the Bundesliga 2, so their squad is capable. The fans are hungry and ready for them to be pushed back into the top flight of German football to take on the likes of Dortmund, Bayern Munich and Leipzig, etc. Can you be the man to bring them back the glory? And another thing about playing in the Bundesliga in FM23, they have the rights to the German league. So you do get much better graphics on the game. It looks good. It feels good. I love playing in the Bundesliga. It just looks fantastic.
Naturwissenschaften.
At number 3,
Wrong.
we travel over to St. Etienne in France, who are currently in Ligue 2 or Ligue 2. Don't know what they would say. Probably Ligue 2.
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
They play at the stadium Stade Geoffroy Guichard, which I've definitely butchered. It can hold 41,965 people. A massive, massive stadium. This St. Etienne team are probably the most successful team out of all the teams we're going to go through today. They won 10 league titles between 1956 and 1980. It has been a very steady decline since 2017 for the French outfit, who have seen a steady drop in form, notably losing 5-0 against Lyon, their bitter rivals. They even had one of their former players manage the team for a couple of games, who was then fined, the club was then fined £25,000 per game he managed, as he did not hold the right qualifications to take charge of the French team.
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob out there.
So 2017 was a bit rocky. 2018-19 was much better. They found themselves finishing in 4th position. Then after that, they finished 17th, but they did reach the final of the Coupe de France trophy, but they lost that out to PSG. 2020-21 saw them hover just above the relegation zone, narrowly missing out on the relegation. However, last year in the 2021-2022 season, they succumbed to relegation.
Bye, have a beautiful time.
And they are now sat all the way down in 19th in Ligue 2. They are desperate to get back into the top flight. They have won the league 10 times. They've won trophies. They know what European football is. They've got a massive stadium. They have a loyal fan base. They need someone to wake up the giant and get them back competing in the French league, so it's not just a one-team league. PSG need to be knocked off their perch, and you could be the person to do it.
I have doubts.
And finally, coming in at number 5, we travel to Palermo in Italy. They are a crazy, crazy club. Researching this one blew me away at what on earth has happened to this team. I remember using this team a lot on FIFA back in the day, but a lot has happened to this club since that time. They play at the Stadio Renzo Barbera that can hold 36,365 people. The Italian team have had a steady decline, as what I've said about all these teams, but they have had a decline in form and fortune. And in the 2018-19 Serie B season, they finished 3rd place with 63 points. However, they were demoted to last place on the 13th of May due to serious financial irregularities, which meant the relegation to Serie C. After an appeal, they were given a points deduction, which saw them finish mid-table quite comfortably. However, on June 24th, 2019, Palermo incorrectly submitted to the FICG, no idea what they are, but they must be important, for a valid insurance policy for the new season. A club trading with no insurance is an extremely serious breach of Italian corporation law. Shit! Which left the FICG no other way out than to relegate the club from not only Serie B, but all professional leagues of Italian football. They essentially ceased to exist. Oh, come on! So, in the 2019-20 season, Palermo, well, what we called Palermo at that point, competed in the highest league of non-professional football in Italy, Serie D. They finished top quite comfortably.
An unintentional rhyme? Well, I'm an unconventional mime, eating an unpresentable lime. Ew! Fuck you!
Under the guidance of Silvio Baldini, they concluded the 21-22 Serie C in 3rd place and behind Bari and Catanzaro. They then won promotion to Serie B after defeating Padova 2-0 in aggregate, thus returning them to the 2nd division, back in there after just 3 years of being kicked out of all Italian football. A crazy roller coaster, but it doesn't end there. A majority stakehold was purchased of the club by the City Football Club, the people that own the likes of Manchester City, New York City, Sydney City? There's a team in Australia, I know about that.
Great job.
The City Group own now Palermo, which can only mean good future, big bright future ahead, a good amount of money, a shit ton of money if it's anything like Man City. And yeah, this could be a fantastic, amazing opportunity, a really fun save where you've got rich owners who could potentially fill the club full of money, and you can take this club back into the heights of Serie A football and really mix it up with the big boys. However, it won't be straightforward. Currently in the Serie B season, they are finding themselves in 17th, so the club is nowhere near where they need to be. You will need to get the right players in, the right staff in, balance the books correctly this time. Make sure you file your taxes as well, or whatever it was they didn't do, insurance, before you can even think about promotion. But they've got the backing, they've got the stadium, they've got the fans, they've got kind of the history. I don't know if it's the same club now.
I don't know.
But they need you to take them back into competing in the top flight of Italian football. So there you go. Those are my top 5 sleeping giants in FM23. Who are you going to choose? Like, subscribe, and share. Tell me in the comments below who you're going to play as in this season. I'm going to pick any of these suggestions that I've got.
Good one.
Please support the channel by subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.